This is going to
No,
be a
I
trap.
promise you there's no trap. I promise. I promise on everything that is branding, not a trap. It's
It's
a
a
trap.
trap.
That's right. Promo UPFront, money in the pit, the mullet, a full podcast.
Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. And that's every time I get to look at my good pal and co-host of this podcast, Kirby Hasseman. Welcome to episode number 199 of the Promo UPFront
Wow.
podcast. I'm Bill Petrie, one of your co-hosts. Already mentioned our other co-host, Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the hell are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just trying to get a bunch of,
Yeah?
we were talking right before we started recording. I've got, obviously we're usually pretty busy. That's kind of the way that we roll, but a little bit more busy than normal, just trying to get ready for a trip. And so I'm
Yep.
excited about that. And so, yeah, things are going good, buddy. How about you?
Things are going good too. I'm just got back from the promo cruise and thank you for recording with me last week. I'm getting ready for a trip as well, a trip to the doctor so I can get my pipes cleaned tomorrow.
Yeah.
So pretty excited about that. Not really, but you know, and I wanted to call you you're the master of Margaritaville. That's what I think
Mm,
of when I think of
nice.
Kirby. And when I think of Margaritaville and margaritas, hasn't been a lot of change. I mean, that's a classic beverage.
Mm.
People love it. It's fresh, it's bright, it's crisp. But we've seen a lot of changes in the promotional products industry, Kirby, from big distributor moves to supplier consolidation, people changing jobs all the time. It's really hard to keep up. And frankly, that's why I'd like to start our podcast today to talk about something we don't talk often enough about in the promotional products industry, and that is stability. That's
Yeah.
right. With all the changes that happen on a regular basis, it's just as important for us to talk about the companies that are established, stable, and strong. And that's why I'm beyond thrilled to talk about our friends over at Shepenko. That's right. For over 90 years and 4 generations of family ownership, Shepenko has genuinely cared about the success of their clients. And that, my friend, is the definition of stability, isn't it, Kirby?
It is. And, I saw something the other day where it was like Dan and I think his son, is it fourth and fifth generation? I mean, like
Yeah, it's
it
crazy.
is so hard to maintain success. Most businesses fail within, a year, 3 years. We all know the statistics. So the idea of being able to
Yeah.
not only manage that through one generation, but 2, 3, 4 generations, it's just crazy. And it really is a testament to their dedication to their craft.
It 100% is. I totally agree. And another point, and since they only sell their merchandise through promotional products distributors, Shepenko is really, they're actually putting their money where their mouth is. They're really dedicated to doing more than just delivering quality merchandise at a fair price. They go that extra mile to ensure every distributor project is a resounding success. It's the right way to do business. And that, my friend, is how you stay in business and stable and strong heading into the next 90 years. Bottom
Awesome.
line, Shepenko stood the test of time. The experience, the products, and the people, absolutely the best. Head over to shepenko.com and get started on your next legendary writing instrument project today. All right, Kirby. So we are at the precipice of episode 200.
Yeah.
That means we're at 199. So I have the honor of the upfront portion of the podcast this week. And before I get a quick teaser, you're not going to want to miss episode number 200 next week. Kirby and I are going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to interview each other
Yeah.
about this very podcast and what it means to us, why we do it, all things we don't ever really talk about. And to underscore the format of this podcast, I have no idea what he's going to ask me, and trust me, he has zero idea what I'm asking him.
Great.
Excellent. So as we record, it's Thursday, April 25th. Yesterday, PPAI came out with another list.
Yep.
And I think you know how I feel about lists, Kirby.
Unless you're
I'm
on. And then you
No,
like
that's
them.
not true. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. I'm iffy on them. I'm
Yeah.
iffy on them. I've come more around to your way of thinking, but I always still look at lists with a raised eyebrow, especially ones that are basically use the formula of sales success to define overall success. I don't truly love that. So yesterday, PPAI came out with the coolest stuff in promo list.
Yep.
And I thought, what an interesting approach to a list.
Yeah.
There was no metrics. There was no
Yep.
rhyme or reason. It's just
Yep.
the
What we think.
staff at PPAI, what they thought was cool. And so to me, that means the list has incredible meaning. And at the same time, it's completely meaningless. And I like that. They're not trying that no one at PPA is trying to soup it up and saying it means this. It's a simple, fun list and a great way to approach it. The categories were cool products, cool ideas, cool solutions, cool events, cool people. I really liked the list. I thought it was really fun. It was put together in a very fun, edgy way. I really kind of dug it. I wanted to get your opinion on that. Any surprises, any snubs? What'd you think on it?
So I didn't dive that deep. And honestly, it was so funny because I didn't know it happened yesterday because I snuck out of here early, as you know, trying to get things ready for my trip next week. So I didn't see it until I saw your post. So you were breaking news for me. I saw it on LinkedIn where you talked about Brandivate being mentioned on the list, right? Go ahead.
And correct. Let's be clear. I'm always breaking news, Kirby.
Hence the reason you're on the list.
Just by existing.
So I saw it today, dug into it because I figured we would talk about it. And quite frankly, it immediately caught my attention. So here's what I would say about these lists, because it's not one list. It's a multitude of lists, right?
Right. And they're not ranked, which I also love, by the way.
So I love this with all my being. And I will tell you, this is exactly why I love lists. I couldn't wait to dive in. I couldn't wait to see who made, or what the justification was. This is this morning I was thinking about, I'm like, this is why I'm right about lists. This is just too much fun. And so I loved how they did it. I loved that. This is just, we just think it's cool. And this is why we think it's cool. So I'm down with that. My only critique, and again, please take it the way that I mean it. Man, leak these out. Do these over a period of time. You could have done these once a week and had 6 weeks worth of content, and I would have read it every time. So that is a critique, a really minor one. But I love it. I love that you were mentioned on it. And then I love that Promocations was mentioned on it, because I think, quite frankly, the way that it was mentioned, they were right. I agree with them. So no, I'm all in 100%. Push my chips to the center of the table. I love this list.
It was, I liked it a lot. Like I said, I liked it a lot too. It was written tongue in cheek, which I liked. I actually liked the fact that they dropped the whole thing at once.
Yeah, I can see both sides. Yeah, I can see it.
You could certainly stretch it out, but I like the fact that it just landed. And I think, it's exactly what I wrote in my post about it. And you've heard me say it a million times. It's like the guy in high school who told everybody he was cool. Guarantee you, he wasn't cool. So when someone or a group of people say that, hey, we think that's cool, I like that. I've always liked that, because it's not up to me to decide if I'm cool, or you or anybody else to decide if they're cool. Other people get to bestow that on you. It's like someone saying, I'm the face of the organization. You don't get to say that. Other people decide that for you. And that's fair. To me, these type of lists, what I like about it, it's validation, because these are things people don't generally talk about. It's easy to look at Sanmar and look at the sales numbers, and we know where they're going to be ranked, and Halo, and same thing. We know where they're going to be ranked. This is different. It's a little more, there's a little more thought put into it. It's not just, okay, let's get a bunch of numbers and drop in a spreadsheet and click sort. So I liked it quite a bit. Whether I was on the list or not is completely irrelevant. No one's going to believe me, but that's absolutely true.
I'm just teasing.
I really like the list though.
Yeah. And I actually like the idea that they were just like kind of embrace the not silliness, because I don't think the list is silly.
It's very tongue in cheek. Very tongue in cheek.
I love that they embrace the idea that this is just our opinion. The end. That is our justification. Thank you so much. Which is kind of what we do sometimes with our powerhouse women of promo. It's like, this is what we think, and if you don't like it, go pound sand.
Well, it shuts down ding dongs like us saying,
Yeah.
well, what about that, man? You should have put
Yeah.
that on there. So I absolutely love the fact that they said, yeah, so here's the thing. This is our opinion.
Yeah. I dig
Bye.
it. Yeah. I
Awesome.
love it so
Hey,
much.
Kirby, I know you do love a good special, but I have a feeling you love a great special even more, especially when it's perfect for your clients as we roll on to summer, into
Yep.
summer. Well, thanks to our good pals over at Kanata, I have a great special that you're going to simply adore, Kirby. It's the summer special summer special order white beach towel. That's a little bit of a mouthful for me
Yeah,
for
it
whatever
is.
reason this
Yeah.
morning. It's only $11.59 on a C, and it's got a huge 30 by 60-inch imprint area, 100% cotton. And oh, by the way, that price includes a 4-color imprint. Largest branding in the industry. You can't beat it. So check that out over at thekanatagroup.com. I guarantee you, you're not only going to be not sorry you did, you're going to thank the good people of Kanata for helping you sell some towels and put some money in your pocket. All right, Kirby, what's our next topic of the day?
Yeah, topic du jour. So
Yep.
the one that caught my eye that I thought for sure I was going to be talking about first was the FTC ruling
Yeah. Yeah.
on non-compete clauses. I
Yeah.
was super interested to read that.
Yep.
If you're just tuning in and hearing this for the first time, the FTC issued a ban on Tuesday, barring employers from imposing non-compete clauses on their employees. I think this is a ginormous thing across all industries, but certainly our industries. So non-compete clause is contractual term between employer and worker that blocks the worker from working for a competing employer or starting a competing business.
Yep.
If you have followed this podcast, as our two dedicated listeners have, you
Both.
probably know I am anti non-competes. I think they're ironically un-American. And so to me, this is great. I'm actually excited about this. And it goes like, it's funny because as is everything in the world today, they go along political lines. And this to me, like, I've just never agreed with the idea, especially in our industry, maybe not especially, but where people, I read through the article on ASI and PPAI, and the folks who are against this ban would say, well, I'm training my employees and then they can go start another business. And I think that there are industries where, yeah, there are things that really are, you're training them on things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to find out. But I think training is sorely lacking in our industry. And the idea that suddenly this what are you training them on? That San Marcel shirts? What do you like the commission codes? What is it that is so proprietary to your organization that I just think most of the time this is all just heavily skewed in the employer, and I'm the employer, by the way, right? Like I just don't believe in them. So I wanted to get your take. Sorry about going on the rant, but your take on what do you think about this ban?
Well, like you, I've never been a fan of non-competes. I've been the victim of non-competes a few times. I've been sued by people in this industry. And they know who I'm talking about because I'm
Right.
staring at them so irritatingly through the camera right now. Um, I don't like non-competes. And in fact, at this point in my life, in my career, and I made this decision probably 10 years ago, that is a deal breaker for me. I will not
Me
sign
too.
a non-compete.
Yeah.
So if I ended up having to, or wanting to go work for someone else, I wouldn't sign a non-compete. Generally the argument is like what you say. I hear, well, we've invested time in training in financial compensation on our people just to have them poached. That's always the word shoot. They're poached by a competitor. Why not focus on making your business culture, your offerings, everything you do so good that people don't want to leave?
Yeah.
You said something that non-competes are un-American, and to a great extent, I agree with you. It makes there's some. I don't think it makes sense by industry. You mentioned by industry. I think it makes sense by position.
Yeah, maybe.
Now,
Okay.
what the FTC ban, the vote to ban. First of all, this is going to be challenged for years
Oh,
in
yeah,
court.
of course. Yeah.
No one's even sure if the FTC has the authority to do
Yeah.
this. By the
Right.
way, But the way it's written, my understanding is anybody making over like $159,000 in X, something like that,
Yeah, I'm looking
that
for it.
those non-competes can stay in place. And I think that's an attempt to say, okay, there are people high up in organizations that may have access to proprietary information that could do harm. That I understand. I've just never understood how a sales rep, using our industry as an
Yeah.
example, can take what secret sauce does anybody really have in this industry? It's here up in your brain, it's here in your heart, and it's the individual person. So I agree. I hope the ban goes through. I don't know. I don't know if it will. I'm sure the Labor and Employment Attorney Association is shitting in their pants right now, thinking, "Man, if this goes into effect, what are we gonna do for a living?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I really think it'll be interesting to see if it goes through. But honestly, I'm for it. I'm for it for anybody who is I'd say 90% of employees, I think they're wrong. There's that
Yeah.
10% that would have proprietary knowledge. I understand someone like a Norm Hullinger, who, worked at Sanmar, and then when he left, that he would have a non-compete for a period of time. I do understand that. That's something that makes sense to me. If Mark Simon decided to leave Halo, I would think, I would be concerned if 2 weeks later he went to go work at Geiger, just picking a name.
Yeah.
I think those instances, that's fine. I think what we really need to focus on, instead of non-compete, how about just a non-disclosure agreement that
Yeah.
is enforceable? So if you can actually prove somebody did harm,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not just you. I've just never liked the fact you're stopping people from doing their job, their livelihood. When I was sued, I was told I couldn't ply my trade at any top 40 distributor or supplier for a period of 3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And I was at the company 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
my comment to them was, go ahead and sue me. And thankfully, I do have one of my college roommates is a labor and employment attorney in Texas, and he had to get involved. But I
yeah.
mean, they came after me. It was ridiculous.
Well, and I think that don't get me wrong. And I think
Yeah.
so many times there's a lot of times where it's like, well, two reasonable people could get in a room and again, two reasonable
Right.
people, that's the key. And
Right.
get in a room and come up with a reasonable solution. But
Right.
so many times I just see a company that has a wildly scarcity mindset and just
Yeah.
bullies someone who they were shitty to. And that's the reason they want to leave, right? Or they fired. Like that's the other thing. Like they can let them go. There's all kinds of things. And then
Right.
say, we don't want you here, but you can't do it anyplace else. Well,
Right.
screw you.
Or you don't want to be here, you want to leave and do something else, and we don't want to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's obviously companies in our industry that are like that. I think, I'm not going to mention any names for a variety of reasons, but there's companies in every industry like that. This is not industry specific. So it will be interesting to watch. I'm glad you brought it up. All right,
Yep.
Kirby, let's talk about language and the lost art of reading people.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is kind of one of the things I actually have had this on my list. It's been rotating for about 8 weeks.
Mhm.
I didn't do the whole let's talk about it and then move on, because I think I
Yeah.
did that for, I don't know, 19 or 20 weeks in the fall. So it's one of the downsides of technology, and I think a lot of it is accelerated because of the pandemic. 90% of communication is nonverbal. You get to see someone's face, they're looking at you, they're not looking at you, their facial expressions, so on and so forth, how they use their hands. Even Zoom, though, has nonverbal
Totally.
communication limitations. So I think that this is really leading to a lot of client friction, misunderstanding, less loyalty, in this distance, this chasm. And I wonder, I want to know if you agreed that we don't communicate as a society as well as we used to,
Sure.
and B, how do we fix it? Now, I obviously am blindsiding you with this, as you would say. I've got some ideas, but and anything. So, A, do you agree with me? You can disagree, and B, what can we do to fix that? And if you want me to go first, I will.
No, it's fine. So yes, I 100% agree. So my tier of communication right now is in person, which
Yep.
by the way, when people are like, nobody wants to meet in person anymore. I do not find
No.
that to be true. I do not find that to be true. I actually
I
think
agree.
fewer people are doing it. So I actually am getting meetings anytime I want,
Right.
with people I have a relationship with, whatever. So in person's number one, number two is Zoom. Number three is phone calls, and then email, right? Like of effectiveness, right?
Kirby's stack ranking of communication methods.
Yeah, that's right. Just because I do, like, I remember you and I actually having the conversation where you're like, this didn't need to be a Zoom call. And I'm like,
Yep.
I disagree. I like anytime I would so much rather do a Zoom call than a phone call because of exactly what you just said. I want to see your face when I'm talking, if I can, And so, yeah, so what do I do about it? Is A, I do prioritize the way I kind of meet with people.
Mhm.
And B, I really, really, really push
Yeah.
me and my team to have in-person meetings. Jade, who's back in town, we talked about that, right? So she's gone with me on probably 5 meetings just since she's been back. And
Mhm.
we were on the way back from, and the one, we drove an hour and a half for a 35 to 45-minute meeting and drove an hour and a
Mhm.
half back, right? Like it was,
Mhm.
but we have like probably a $2,500 opportunity because toward the end of the meeting, with me continuing the conversation, another idea popped up that we
Yeah.
could help service them on. And it would never have come up on a phone call. It would have never come up on a Zoom call. But because we were there having a great time, they're like, oh yeah, one more thing. And so Jade's getting, he's kind of seeing that firsthand. And so that,
Mhm.
again, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's like, I'm pushing for in-person.
It does. And I didn't frame up the question right, so
Okay.
that's my fault, not yours. You answered it perfectly though. In person matters. In
Yeah.
person makes a difference, but there's times when you can't because of
Right.
distance and things like that. So that's kind of really where I was going with it. Again, I
Okay,
didn't
great.
explain that very well,
That's good.
so that's okay.
Bring it.
However, so
You're good.
I'm bringing it, Kirby. So I wrote down, so encourage Zoom meetings, but keep your camera on. There's so many times people have
Yes.
their camera off.
That's the
And
point
I
of it.
get it. I loathe Zoom meetings just like everybody else. And there are times I actually find a phone call to be more productive and more targeted than a Zoom meeting. It's less distracting sometimes. If somebody's actually paying attention on the phone, they're not doing 3 things at once. On
Sure.
Zoom, you can kind of tell people are doing stuff. So, but
Totally.
if you're having Zoom meetings, encourage people to keep their camera on, smile, nod, right?
Mm,
We forget sometimes to do this with technology.
totally.
And I'm looking right at the camera right now, and there's actually AI stuff that if I'm looking, because I'm looking at you right now, but there's AI that would actually make it look like I look at the camera. So maybe investigate that. I've gotten comfortable looking at the camera. It doesn't bother
Yep.
me. I can see you in the lower left-hand corner of my screen. It doesn't bother
Yep.
me at all. But look at people, look at the camera like it's a human being and,
Yep.
and interact with it. Uh, do not do something else during your conversation. There's
Yes.
nothing more distracting when someone's like, yeah, what do you, they look to the right and they're on their second screen or third
Yeah.
screen doing stuff. I
So
sometimes do
obvious.
that, but I'll do that sometimes because a lot of times I have 2 screens. So the
Yep.
one right in front of me is my main work screen, and then I have the one on the right that's kind of like emails and stuff like that.
Yep.
And what I'll do when I'm in a Zoom meeting, if I need to consult documents, I will slide the people to my less used screen so they're
Mhm.
on my right side. And so I can look down at what I'm talking about and look right up. So it doesn't look like I'm, turning to the right or left. I think that helps. And then try to read your audience with nonverbal signs. I'm telling you, you can tell. That's why in person or Zoom and really emoting
Mhm.
makes such a difference. So it is a little bit of a lost art, but it's a lost art we can find, Kirby, if we just try hard enough.
No, I agree 100%. It's funny because yesterday, I'm sorry to,
Yep.
but like
No.
I'm pressing Jade on this, right? Like, come with me. I want you to meet with people. It's a great excuse to get the meeting, by the way. Hey,
Right.
Jade's in towns, whatever.
Sure.
We went to one of our largest clients yesterday to meet, drop off some spec samples, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was apparent to me within 3 minutes that they did
Mhm.
not have time.
Yeah.
Like they were busy. They'd made the appointment, they kept the appointment, and we were out of there in 8 minutes. And Jade was
Yeah.
like, well, that was quick. I'm like, they needed it to be quick because I
Yep.
was looking at their
You can read the
nonverbal
room.
cues. Right.
You can read the room. And I do think, interesting you bring Jade up, and this is not a cut against Jade
No, I
or
know.
her generation, but I think it's a generation that does struggle with the calorie burn that goes with
Mhm.
getting in the car, driving somewhere, it's raining outside, it's
Yep.
cold, it's hot, whatever it is. because it's easier to say, let's hop on a Zoom.
Totally.
Or
Totally.
I do think, again, pendulum swings back and forth, always has, always will. So good stuff, Kirby. Good stuff.
I like
Thank
it.
you for indulging me on that. Do you have one more quick topic for us?
Yeah, and this one
Or
probably
no?
will be quick. So
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this, but Nikola Jokic,
Yep.
excuse me.
Yep. Tennis.
So
Yep. Tennis player.
NBA player for the Denver
Yeah.
Nuggets. He's one of the best players in the
Yeah.
world. Follow me on this. This isn't a basketball topic necessarily, but
Okay.
he showed up to the playoff game #1 dressed up like Groot. It was a marketing
Yeah.
campaign for Despicable Me 4. I apparently can't say any of these words. But so big NBA star dressed up as Gru as a part of the marketing campaign for Despicable Me 4. You like it? You think it's fun? Do you hate it? What's your thoughts?
I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I'm not sure that NBA playoff basketball fans are really your target audience for the next Despicable Me movie.
Fair.
Sure, it's fun, and it's different. I like the fact that it's different. I never would have thought of that. So someone should get an extra box of Girl Scout cookies for thinking of that, because I never would have. But I'm not sure how is that going to make someone go, oh man, I've been meaning to see a new movie, and now I want to see Despicable Me 4, whatever it is, 3. But again, it does bring it top of mind, so mission accomplished.
Yeah, I think it was funny, and I thought it was cute. That being said, somebody had to explain to me that he was dressed as Gru, because folks walking into NBA games are always dolled up in different crazy ways. So whatever, it was whatever.
You're not the demographic, buddy.
I'm not, and I also say Nikola Jokic is not like the most dynamic personality either.
Well, you said
anyway.
You said Jokic, and I was thinking of the tennis player Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Hey, let's do a quick rapid fire, interactive rapid fire, Kirby. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is actually truly, you can't go wrong here. I thought, you and I both love music. We don't talk a lot about music on the podcast.
Yep.
So I'm just going to name artists or bands or groups. And I just want you to tell me the first song that the song you associate most with that band, the one that pops into your mind. I did this exercise as well. No, I promise you there's no trap. I promise. I promise on everything that is branding, not a trap.
It's a trap.
All right, let's start with an easy one. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna try here. Jimmy Buffet.
Yeah. I mean, the first song that comes is Margaritaville. There's songs that I like better, but that's
sure. That was the one I came up with too. I actually did this. I wrote these down in the first song that came into my head. I promise you. So really, joking, because it really isn't a trap here. I'm just curious. Bon Jovi.
Wanted Dead or Alive.
Okay, I went Living on a Prayer. Interesting.
Yeah.
The Beatles.
Hey Jude.
Okay, Let It Be for me.
That's a great song. Yeah.
P.S.
Josh Robbins. They're all great.
I'm not even humoring that conversation.
That was just for me.
Yeah. The Rolling Stones.
Satisfaction.
Start Me Up.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Folsom Prison Blues.
Prison Blues. That's what I came up with.
Yeah.
One of my personal favorites, Taylor Swift.
Oh, see, this is where it's a trap.
It's not a trap, because I came up with one.
Our Song.
Okay, I'm going to Shake It Off.
I'm
going to Shake It.
Yeah, our song is like an older Taylor Swift, like back when she was doing country, I think.
Okay, Elton John.
Rocket Man.
All right, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
It's a great song
for some reason.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Guns N' Roses, Kirby. One of your favorite bands of that era.
That's really hard for me to choose.
First one. Don't choose. Just first one that pops in your head. There's no choosing.
There's so many though. I'm gonna go Welcome
to
the Jungle. I'm gonna go.
That's exactly what it should be. Welcome to the Jungle.
It's either that or Sweet Child of Mine. Yeah.
All right. George Strait, the King.
George Strait is Cross My Heart. It's a song that I sang to Amy at our wedding.
Oh, awesome. I love it. That was a song Sandy and I danced to at our wedding.
Yeah.
So I went with Amarillo by Morning. Amarillo by Morning. Foo Fighters.
I'm going to get skewered now.
No, you're not.
What's the song
if you don't know? Me, Learn to Fly.
Yes.
It could
Love
be
that song.
Everlong. It could be Breakout. It could
Learn
be
to
a lot.
Fly.
So you're
Learn to Fly.
okay. Cool. You wanted the best, Kirby. You got the best. The hottest band in the land, Kiss.
Oh, Kiss.
Yeah.
I want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Party every day.
Yeah.
I went with Detroit Rock City. That's always
Okay.
been my favorite Kiss song. A couple more. Are you enjoying this game so far?
It's great. I'm bracing for impact.
You're bracing for impact. Excellent. Pearl Jam.
Jeremy.
That's what I went with.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Oh, On the Road Again.
I went Blue Skies. Well, I sang
Yeah,
it to you this
yeah,
morning.
yeah.
Tom Petty. Love me some Tom Petty.
Yes, I love Tom Petty. I'm trying to think of the name of the song. It's Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Okay. I went with The Waiting. I think
Yeah,
that's the quintessential
yeah.
Tom Petty song. Three
Yeah, but
more.
that-
Pink
yeah.
Floyd. Pink Floyd.
Oh, I think it's just a wall, right? Is that the song I'm thinking of?
That's an album, but there's a wall part 1. I think you're thinking
Yeah.
another brick in the wall. We don't
Brick in the
need
Wall.
no edu- yeah.
Brick in the Wall.
Okay,
Yes, that's
another
the
brick
one.
in the wall part 2. That's another brick in the wall part 2. I went with Wish You Were Here. Always my
Oh, that's a
it's the
good one.
song
Yeah,
I always
I do like that
gravitate
song.
back to. All right, 2 more, Kirby. Billy Joel.
Yeah. So again, the thing that pops into my head is Piano Man.
Yep. They're done.
Yeah.
Conversation's over.
But there's another song that I
Yeah,
like better, but
conversa-
that's fine. Okay.
It's it's the song you associate with the artist,
Yeah.
not your favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Please play the game. Yeah, you see, there really wasn't a trap, and you screwed it up anyway.
I knew it.
I also went with Piano Man. Last one, the mighty Van Halen.
I mean, how do you not think of Jump, man? Like that.
Okay.
Panama would be my second choice, but
I went with Panama.
Yeah.
Panama is the one that pops into my head.
Yeah.
It's just that to me is there's 2 quintessential Van Halen songs. Panama
both
is one
off of
them.
1984. Yep.
Both off of back to back tracks. Track number 2 is Jump. Track number 3 is Panama. But track number 4 is in 4 generations. That would be our good pals at Shepenko that have 4
Nice.
generations of family ownership. As Kirby giggles over my weird transition.
That was well done. I think. That's good.
And we love our good friends over at Shepenko. Dan Towns, Daniel Towns, Alex Moltz, the whole Towns family. Great people.
Good peeps.
They do what they say what they do. They've been in business for over 90 years, 4 generations of family ownership. You can't find a better group of people that are completely invested in your success. Why? Glad you asked. Because they only sell to promotional products distributors. They don't sell to the local drugstore. Okay? They sell to you and they're invested in your success. So head over to shepenko.com today. You're not going to be sorry you did. Kirby, I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Hey, buddy.